debates and decisions that are shaping our continent now in Europeans.
In the countryside around the Bulgarian capital Sofia, farmers can spot Ivan Yordanov coming from a long way off. The well-known doctor supervises the region's veterinarians. Today's destination is Slivnica, a pig breeding farm where 200 sows produce around 4,000 piglets per year. Bulgarian pig farmers are currently dealing with two big problems: classical swine fever and tough legal requirements that came with joining the European Union. There are no cases of the fever at this farm, but because of outbreaks elsewhere in Bulgaria, a ban of exports to other EU member states concerning live pigs and pig meat from Bulgaria and Romania is set to continue at least until September. European Union membership brought major changes in food safety requirements to Bulgaria and Romania, notably traceability. Both countries have been repeatedly criticized for delays in implementing documentation systems which track food, as Brussels likes to put it, from the stable to the table. Bulgaria found two partners, Denmark and the Netherlands, with which to compare experience, including vaccination, monitoring, control, transport, all linked to food safety. Pig farmer Alexander Spasov built up his farm with EU funds under the SAPARD program.
We have no problem with the new EU requirements. For instance, this new traceability system is absolutely necessary. Pig farm owners must make sure that every animal is documented. Each pig has to be marked, and computer records have to be kept of how it develops and grows. The future belongs to the bigger farms alone, not to small family farms with only one or two animals. Only the big farms will be able to meet the strict sanitary requirements and food safety controls we are talking about.
The animals in Slivnica are enclosed. When this is not done, as in most small farms, contact between domestic pigs and wild boar cannot be excluded. To eradicate the disease, also known as hog cholera, EU money is being spent on the vaccination of wild boar. But another of Bulgaria's problems is that it has just one facility for destroying remnants from the slaughterhouses. The EU insists it build a second one. The project has been delayed for 3 years. But construction is finally about to start this autumn, co-financed by the EU. When Romania and Bulgaria joined the bloc on the 1st of January, the external border of the EU shifted. New border agents took responsibility for strict veterinary controls, checking trucks, ships, planes and storage depots. These posts are now operational with EU veterinary approval. Nevertheless, Moscow has accused Bulgaria of illicitly re-exporting meat imported from Brazil and India to Russia. A Russian ban on all meat exports from the EU was averted just days before Bulgaria's EU accession. This demonstrated the importance of putting in place a detailed, secure tracing system, documenting all meat crossing borders, dead or alive. The Deputy Minister of Agriculture in Sofia explains.
The Bulgarian food factories exporting to the European Union and Russia have introduced the new traceability system. That means mentioning clearly the origin of every single animal in all the necessary documents. This traceability is guaranteed, completely clear and transparent. As regards the specific topic of Bulgarian exports towards Russia, Bulgaria has no objections to Russian experts coming to Bulgarian food factories to perform their own supplementary checks. Even if they want to come every month, that's not a problem for us. We have nothing to hide.
The European Commission signed a memorandum of understanding with Russia on the 19th of January. This formalized a mutual EU-Russia recognition of food safety and animal health standards. Bulgaria's EU commissioner in charge of consumer protection argues forcefully in favor of tough food safety controls in all the EU member states.
We need this safety regulation if you'd like to enjoy the internal market and of our health. So that's why I believe that just the opposite. We would have underestimated ourselves if we have less requirements to the food safety. This is how this union should functioning, with a good one discipline, keeping our reputation and protecting our citizens.
This blue box, carried by Dr. Lyubka Lazarova, A Sofia-based official veterinary inspector contains samples for verification. Before Bulgaria's EU accession, Lyubka took special training. By joining the EU, Bulgaria changed its system of controlling food production. The meat producers had to build up an integrated internal quality control and audit network. The state administration inspectors are now controlling the controllers. For example, the company Bravo had only produced for Bulgarian consumers. Now, with EU certification pending, it is setting out to conquer markets in Germany and the Benelux countries. EU officers are double-checking the rigor exercised by Lyubka and her colleagues in Bulgaria's National Veterinary Service.
I have observed Bulgarian food processing companies improving a lot, not only their production quality standards, but also in regard to the implementation of the EU audit system of permanent self-control, which is integrated throughout the whole production process.
While Lyubka writes her report, the Bravo manager tells us about last year's €2 million investment to upgrade food safety. This meant buying modern machinery in Slovenia and Germany. He accepts the tough EU requirements and is convinced that today, because of all his upgrading, his company's performance is much better than many food factories in the old EU member states.
The factories involved in meat production in Bulgaria have improved a lot. A large part of their investments are in food safety. Most of our meat factories are up to EU standards now. But in my opinion, about half of all the meat processing plants in the old member states do not fulfill those requirements today.
Bogomil Nikolov is chief director of the Bulgarian National Consumers Association. When he goes to a butcher's shop, it's not always with a meal in mind, but testing.
We take samples from shops, give it to laboratories, and then we publish the results in our monthly newsletter. And the results shows that concerning quality of products, it's improving compared to 5 years ago, previous tests done in the past. But there is still much to achieve. For example, I just took this sausages test, and there is a high level of water and also high level of fat.
The strict tightening of veterinary controls at local, national and European level have reinforced guarantees that exports of made-in-Bulgaria meat are safe, from the stable to the table. Her mission accomplished, convinced and confident, Lyubka tucks into a nice steak or three.